I want to tell you about the week my husband passed his medical licensing exam. I had waited 11 years for that week. 11 years of alarm clocks before dawn, of nursing aide shifts that ran into waitress shifts, that ran into office cleaning shifts, that ran back into morning. 11 years of student loan paperwork in my name, of missed school plays and birthday dinners eaten cold after the second job ended, of telling my children that Mama would make it up to them, of telling myself that the future we were building was real and that the man I was building it for saw every single thing I was doing and loved me for it. The week Gerald passed his exam, he came home and we opened a bottle of wine we had been saving. He cried. I cried. He said, "Dorothy, I could not have done this without you." I said, "I know." We both knew it was the truest thing either of us had said in years. 11 days later, he served me with divorce papers. His attorney had already been retained for 3 months. The intern's name was Cynthia. She was 29 years old. They were married 8 months later. My name is Dorothy Mae Calloway. I am 69 years old. I live in Dallas, Texas. I am still a nursing aide, the same job I had when I started working 3 of them to put Gerald through school. I am still paying off one of the student loans I took in my name for his tuition. And I am here today to tell you the whole story, every part of it, because I spent too many years being too ashamed to say it out loud. And I have finally run completely out of patience for shame that was never mine to carry. Stay with me. This is going to take a while, and it is going to be worth every minute. I was born in 1955 in Dallas, Texas. Oak Cliff neighborhood, the black side of the Trinity River if you know Dallas. My father, Clarence, was a postal worker. My mother, Ruth, was a seamstress and a Sunday school teacher, and the most organized human being I have ever encountered in my life. She ran our household on a postal worker's salary with the precision of a general and the warmth of a grandmother. Nothing was wasted, everything was accounted for. And we were loved, completely, consistently, without condition. I was the second of 4 children. Studious, my teachers said, serious. I read everything I could get my hands on. I wanted to be a doctor when I was 10 years old. I said it out loud at the dinner table, and my father smiled and my mother looked at me with that look she had. The one that was not discouragement exactly, but was the careful love of a woman who wanted her daughter to know the world as it was, not as she wished it to be. She said, "Dorothy, you can be anything, but you will have to work twice as hard for half the credit. That is just the truth of it. Learn it now." I learned it. I graduated high school in 1973 and enrolled in a nursing program at a community college. Not medical school. The cost was impossible without help I did not have, but nursing felt like proximity to the thing I had wanted. I became a certified nursing aide at 20. I was good at it. I had a way with patients that my supervisors noticed, a particular patience, a particular presence. The work was hard and the pay was modest, and I never once considered doing anything else. I met Gerald Calloway in 1977 at a church social. He was 24, I was 22. He was tall and funny and spoke about his ambitions with a directness I found remarkable. He wanted to be a doctor. He had wanted it his whole life. He had a bachelor's degree in biology and a dream that was so vivid and so specific that being around it felt like standing next to something warm. We married in 1979. I was 24. We were happy, genuinely happy in the way young people are when the future still feels like something you can shape with your hands. Gerald applied to medical schools and was waitlisted twice before being accepted in 1981 to a program in Dallas. We were overjoyed. And then we sat down and looked at the numbers. Medical school tuition in 1981 was not what it is today, but on a nursing aide's salary with a 1-year-old daughter and another baby coming, it was still impossible. Gerald had partial scholarship funding. The rest was a gap that needed to be filled every semester for 4 years, then residency, then fellowship. We sat at our kitchen table with a legal pad, and we built a plan. The plan required me to work more, a lot more. I want to be clear about something. Gerald did not demand this of me. He did not pressure me. He said, "Dorothy, I will understand if this is too much." I said, "Gerald, we are doing this. You are going to be a doctor, and we are going to do it together." I made that choice with my whole heart and both eyes open. What I could not see, what I would not see for 11 more years, was what Gerald was doing with that choice. From 1981 to 1992, I worked 3 jobs. Nursing aide at Parkland Hospital from 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Waitress at a family diner on Jefferson Avenue from 3 to 9, 4 days a week. Office cleaning for a commercial service on Friday and Saturday nights. I took Sundays off because my mother told me that a woman who does not rest becomes a woman who cannot function, and a woman who cannot function is no use to anyone. We had 2 children during this period. Renata was born in 1980, Marcus in 1984, the year Gerald started his 2nd year of medical school. I took 6 weeks off after Marcus was born and then went back to all 3 jobs. My mother kept the children during the day. Gerald was studying. That was the arrangement. That was what made it possible. I took out 2 student loans in my name to cover tuition gaps in Gerald's 3rd and 4th years. I did not tell my mother about the loans because she would have worried. I did not tell my friends because I had stopped seeing most of them. There was simply no time. I lived inside a schedule so tight that deviation in any direction was not possible. I was not unhappy exactly. I was moving too fast to know what I was. Gerald graduated from medical school in 1985, then residency, then a fellowship in cardiology. The demands on his time were extraordinary, and I understood that. Residency is brutal for everyone in the household, not just the resident. I kept working, I kept managing, I kept telling the children that Daddy was going to change lives and that what we were doing as a family was building something that would matter. I believed that. I said it so many times it became a kind of scripture. What I was building, it turned out, was Gerald's career. What I thought I was building was our life. Those 2 things looked identical from the inside for 11 years. They were not the same thing at all. Gerald passed his medical licensing exam in the spring of 1992. I was 37 years old. I had been working 3 jobs for 11 years. When he called me with the news, I was on my lunch break at Parkland, sitting in a plastic chair in the break room with a sandwich I had made at 5:30 in the morning. I cried so hard that a colleague came over to check if I was all right. I told her I was fine. I was better than fine. I felt like the finish line had appeared after a very long race. We had a dinner that night, just the 4 of us, me, Gerald, Renata, and Marcus. I made his favorite meal. I bought a cake. Gerald gave a little speech at the table. He talked about the journey, about how hard it had been, about the people who had made it possible. He looked at me when he said that. He looked directly at me. I thought that look meant everything I needed it to mean. I did not know that Cynthia had been part of Gerald's life for 14 months by then. I did not know that his attorney had been drafting documents for several weeks. I did not know that the look he gave me at that dinner table was the look of a man who had already made his decision and was waiting for a moment that felt clean enough to implement it. Looking back, the signs were there. They are always there. Gerald had changed in small ways over the preceding 2 years, ways I attributed to the stress of the final stages of his training. He was more distant, more careful about his phone. He started going to the gym, which he had never done before. He bought new clothes without mentioning it. He came home later from the hospital, and the explanations were always plausible, and I accepted them because I was tired and because accepting them was easier than the alternative. I met Cynthia once before I knew who she was, a hospital event in the fall of 1991. She was one of a group of interns I was introduced to briefly, young, bright, energetic, the particular energy of someone at the beginning of a career that has been entirely their own to pursue. She shook my hand and said it was lovely to meet me and moved on. Gerald was nearby when it happened. He did not look at me when she shook my hand. I noticed that. I filed it without understanding it. I understand it now. After the divorce papers came, I talked to a friend of Gerald's, a man named Harold, who had known us both for years. Harold told me, carefully and with obvious discomfort, that he had known about Cynthia for 8 months before the papers were served, that other people in Gerald's circle had known, that I had been the last person in our shared social world to find out. That information did something to me that the betrayal itself had not quite managed. It made me feel erased, not just betrayed, erased, as if I had been so invisible in my own life that everyone around me could see what was happening while I was too busy surviving to look up. The divorce was finalized in 1993. Gerald's attorney was experienced, and the settlement reflected it. The family home went to me, with the mortgage, which I could barely service on a nursing aide's salary. Gerald paid child support that was adequate but not generous. There was no legal mechanism by which I could claim compensation for 11 years of my labor funding his education. His medical degree was not considered a marital asset in any way that benefited me. I had invested 11 years and 2 student loans in something that was legally, entirely his. The student loans I had taken in my name totaled a little over $18,000 in 1992 dollars. I have paid the majority of that debt. As of today, there is still a small balance remaining. Gerald has been a practicing cardiologist for over 30 years. He and Cynthia have 3 children. He lives in a house in North Dallas that costs more than I will earn in the rest of my working life. I am not telling you this to ask for pity. I am telling you this because I want you to understand the full picture of what was exchanged, what I gave, what I received, and what the law said about the difference between those 2 things. Because nobody told me these things when I was 26 years old and in love and ready to work 3 jobs for someone else's dream. Nobody told me that invisible labor leaves no legal trace. Nobody told me to protect myself. I am telling you now. My children were my salvation. Renata and Marcus, they grew up watching their mother work, and they understood what they had watched. Renata is a teacher now. Marcus is an electrician. Neither of them has spoken to Gerald more than a handful of times since the divorce. That was their choice, not mine. I told them explicitly that they were allowed to have their own relationship with their father. They made their own decisions. I am proud of both of them in ways I do not have the words for. I sold the house in 2004. The mortgage had become unmanageable, and the neighborhood had changed around me. I moved into a small apartment. I was 49 years old, and I felt, for the first time in my adult life, like I was only responsible for myself. That feeling was terrifying and quietly exhilarating in equal measure. At 58, I enrolled in a community college continuing education program. Not to become a doctor, I had let that dream take its proper shape, which was small and personal and mine. I took courses in health administration. I eventually moved into a supervisory role in my department at the hospital. It is not the career I would have built if I had built a career for myself at 22, but it is mine. Every credential, every promotion, every dollar of it is mine. And that ownership, that clean, uncomplicated ownership, is something I did not know how much I needed until I finally had it. What do I wish I had known? I wish I had known that invisible labor has to be made visible. In writing, in legal agreements, in the documentation of what you are contributing and what you expect in return. When I was supporting Gerald through medical school, I did not have a lawyer. I did not have a post-nuptial agreement. I did not have anything in writing that acknowledged my contribution or established my claim to the future we were building. Love made that feel unnecessary. Love was wrong. I am not saying do not trust your partner. I am saying that trust and legal protection are not opposites. A partner who loves you will have no objection to a written record of what you are both contributing and what you both expect. A partner who pushes back against that documentation is showing you something important. Listen to what they are showing you. Second, your dreams are not less important than his. I set aside my own ambitions completely for 11 years. I told myself it was temporary. It was not temporary. The years I spent supporting Gerald's career were years I did not spend building my own. I cannot get them back. I am not destroyed by that. I have built something real in the years since, but I want young women to hear this clearly. Your dream and his dream are not in competition. But if you find yourself making choices that only advance one of them, something is wrong. Name it, correct it. Do not wait 11 years to do it. And this last thing, which is the most important thing I know. What happened to me was not my fault. I loved generously and worked faithfully and trusted completely. Those are not failures. Those are the qualities of a good person. The failure was Gerald's, the failure of his character, his gratitude, his basic human decency. I spent years examining my own choices as if I were the one who had done something wrong. I was not. I chose well, he chose badly. And I refuse from this day forward to carry the weight of his choice inside my body as if it were mine. My name is Dorothy Calloway. I am 69 years old. I live in Dallas, Texas, in a small apartment that is entirely mine. I work at the same hospital where I have worked for over 40 years, and I am still here. I want to say something directly to every woman listening to this who is right now working to support someone else's dream. I see you. I know what you are doing, and I know what it costs, and I know that you do it from love, and I honor that completely. And I am asking you to also do this one thing: protect yourself. Not instead of loving, not instead of giving, in addition to those things. Get it in writing, talk to a lawyer, make sure that what you are building has your name on it too, not because you distrust your partner, because you respect yourself. If this story stayed with you, if something in it named something you have been carrying, share it. Share it with a daughter, a sister, a friend who is in the middle of her own version of this. Because the story I told today happens every day, in every city, to women who are too busy working to see it coming, and the only thing that changes it is women talking to each other honestly about what they have lived through. Subscribe to Senior Untold Stories. Every week we bring you a real life told with every hard part left in. Leave a comment below. Tell me what stayed with you. I read every single one, always. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and make sure your name is on what you build. Good night.